And I'm down for you always. The new me is really still the real me. I swear you gotta feel me before you try and kill me. They gotta make the choices. They're running out of options.
God is a God of order. And there's a reason why there's a husband and a wife. And there's a reason why there's a family. And there's a reason why there's certain things you're supposed to do beforehand before you get married. And there are things that you're not supposed to do before you get married.
This girl, Jillian, is 15 years old and Erika is 25.
What just came out about Erika's past is seriously raising eyebrows. Text messages and videos have surfaced showing Erika flirting with women and making some pretty bold statements about her own sexuality. And now social media is going wild with theories that Erika may have been hiding a big secret all along. If you recall, back in February, Erika was already under serious heat after Candace Owens leaked old DMs and Instagram comments Erika had sent to someone named Jillian, who was only 15 at the time. That alone had people talking. But now, even more receipts have come out, and this time it's a trail of flirty comments Erika left on photos of attractive women. Here's one example. A woman posts a photo in a bathing suit, and Erika slides in with, "Are you from the moon? Because your physique is out of this world." Okay, some might brush that off as a playful compliment between friends. Women do talk like that sometimes, especially online. But then Erika follows it up with, "All those curves and me with no breaks." That's not a friendly compliment, that's a whole confession. And it doesn't stop there.
Jillian posted this tweet on March 6, 2014. So Erika says, "Let me call you, hold on sweetheart, give me a wow." And then Jillian says, "Okay," and puts laughing emojis. Erika then says, "Sec. Too, but not from you, LOL."
That same woman posted a photo doing splits on a tennis court, and Erika is right back in the comments asking her, "Your court or mine?" The internet is connecting every single dot, and the picture it's painting is something Erika probably never wanted anyone to see. The back and forth between Erika and this woman gets even wilder. The woman replies with, "I'll show you my ace," and Erika fires back with, "Good," because the whole world is about to witness it. And the comments don't stop there. Erika is all over this woman's page, dropping lines like, "Cuff me or nah. Your shirt looks a lot like my thoughts. Tied up with you. And baby girl, those long legs been running through my mind all day. Even between the closest of friends, that's a lot." And here's the thing, even if Erika was just playing around, this completely blows up the whole devout Catholic, never dated, traditional wife image she's been selling. Because the second she locked in on Charlie, it was like a full personality swap. The way she dresses, the way she talks, everything flipped overnight. And look, nobody would even care if she just said, "I used to live differently, I met Charlie, and I changed." Simple, honest. But instead, Erika keeps getting caught in stories that don't add up, like claiming she didn't date for 5 years before Charlie.
Erika then having sent this 15-year-old to have photos taken. Insane. She sent this 15-year-old to have photos taken. She's helping her because she's just so beautiful get into maybe some modeling. That's at least how she presented it to her. So after telling her how beautiful and perfect her lips were, she then sets her up with a photographer, a friend of Erika's. Erika, she says, arranged the entire thing. And Jillian said that this photographer was kind of creepy. She's trying to remember his name. She says she remembers it began with an R, and he was kind of shorter, chubbier, and yeah, I'd say yeah, Jillian, that's pretty creepy.
While photos surfaced showing her with at least 2 different guys during that exact same period. Then there's her old Instagram caption where she wrote, "I get so gay off that tequila." And this wasn't a one-time thing. She used to post stuff like this regularly before scrubbing her entire social media and rebranding. But the most serious part of all this involves the situation with Jillian, a minor who was only 15. According to Candace, Erika allegedly arranged for this young girl to do a photo shoot with a male photographer and reportedly convinced her she didn't need her parents' permission. No legitimate scout bypasses a minor's parents. No excuse makes that okay, and what reportedly happened next, in terms of how Erika was preparing this young girl for that shoot, makes the whole thing even more disturbing. The behavior described here goes way beyond anything professional. It looks more like love bombing. In June 2014, Jill posted a screenshot of messages from Erika saying, "You have the most stunning features, your eyes, your lips, your skin. You're absolutely beautiful." And these messages trace all the way back to 2013 and 2014, when Erika was working as a casting agent. No legitimate casting professional sends messages like that to anyone they're scouting, let alone someone who is 15. Erika was calling Jill a dime piece, sending gifts, and even making inappropriate innuendos by pretending to misspell words on purpose. And in that same conversation, Erika actually tells Jill, "I don't bat for the other team just yet. That is not how any professional speaks to a minor. Period." And Jill? She was clearly convinced this was a real special friendship. She was posting things like, "Waking up to a text from Erika Francevay made my day," and "Conversations with Erika Francevay are always the best."
I would also similarly say that any person who is arranging for photographs to be taken of a 15-year-old girl without explicit permission from that person's mother is a total creep. So Erika having done this is completely and utterly creepy. It's creepy. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I will not allow people to say that it makes sense in some contexts. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I asked, did she speak to your mother? She said, no, she never spoke to my mother.
This young girl genuinely believed they had a bond while Erika was a faifed 5-year-old grown woman. That age gap alone should raise every red flag imaginable. What grown adult actively pursues a close friendship with a 5-year-old they barely know? Erika's defenders want everyone to laugh it off as jokes and silliness, but there is nothing funny about a grown woman speaking that way to a minor. You cannot spin your way out of that. And here's what's really worth thinking about: maybe all the lesbian speculation floating around is actually pulling attention away from the more serious issue. Not making accusations, just observing. The real conversation shouldn't be about Erika's personal preferences. It should be about how she treated a young girl she was supposedly trying to bring into the modeling world. That's the part nobody wants to address directly. And this opens up questions that nobody seems to want to answer, and the deeper you dig, the more unsettling the picture becomes. Let's start with what we actually know. Erika didn't just change her lifestyle, she erased it. Every post, every comment, every caption that showed who she really was before Charlie gone. Scrubbed clean like it never existed. And that alone should make anyone pause. People who genuinely change don't usually feel the need to delete their entire digital footprint. They own their past. They talk about it. They say, "I was different back then, and here's how I grew." But that's not what happened here. Instead, Erika quietly wiped the slate and hoped nobody would go looking. But people did go looking. And what they found painted a picture that looked nothing like the image she was selling. Think about the timeline for a second. Before Charlie, Erika was posting flirty comments on women's photos, making jokes about her own sexuality, going to weddings with female dates, and sending messages to a 5-year-old that no professional should ever send to someone that young. And then, almost overnight, all of that disappears. The personality shifts, the wardrobe changes, the language changes. Suddenly, she's presenting herself as a traditional, faith-driven woman who never really lived that kind of life at all. That's not a glow-up. That's a complete character replacement. And here's what makes it even more suspicious: the timing is too clean. The reinvention didn't happen gradually over years of personal growth. It happened right around the time she entered Charlie's orbit. That's not a coincidence most people are willing to overlook anymore. When your transformation lines up perfectly with your access to someone powerful and influential, people are going to start asking questions. And they should. So, what was the actual goal here? Because there are really only a few possibilities, and none of them are particularly flattering. Option 1, Erika genuinely fell for Charlie, had a real change of heart, and just handled the whole thing terribly by lying about her past instead of being upfront. That's the most charitable reading. But even in that version, she still chose deception over honesty, which says something about her character. Option 2, Erika saw an opportunity. A prominent man with a massive platform, a built-in audience, and serious influence in conservative circles. And she made a calculated decision to become exactly the kind of woman that man would want. She studied the role, prepared for it, and performed it flawlessly right up until the receipts started surfacing. Option 3, and this is where it gets really interesting. What if Erika wasn't just after Charlie personally, but after everything that comes with being connected to someone like him? The visibility, the platform, the ability to build her own brand on the back of his credibility. Because that's exactly what happened. The moment she entered his world, she gained access to audiences, opportunities, and a level of public relevance she never had before. And once you're in that position, you have a lot to lose if the truth comes out. Which might explain why she's fought so hard to keep the old version of herself buried. and buried it she tried to keep, but the internet has a long memory. Screenshots get saved, comments get archived. People who knew her back then still have receipts. And one by one, those receipts keep making their way to the surface, no matter how many times she tries to reset the narrative. Now, let's talk about what this means for Charlie, because he's not just a bystander in all of this. He's at the center of it. If the woman he married built their entire relationship on a version of herself that wasn't real, if the faith, the values, the lifestyle were all part of a performance, then what exactly did he sign up for? Does he know? Has he always known? Or has he been just as misled as everyone else? Those are uncomfortable questions, but they're fair ones. Because if you're a public figure building your brand around your family, your faith, and your values, and your partner's entire backstory is falling apart in real time, that affects you too. It affects your credibility. It affects how people see everything you've built together. And then there are the connections. Because Erika doesn't exist in a vacuum. The people she's been linked to, the circles she moved in before her reinvention, the relationship she had during those years she claims she wasn't dating, all of it paints a more complex picture than the simple story she's been telling. When you connect those dots, the version of events she's presented to the public starts looking less like the truth and more like a carefully edited highlight reel with all the uncomfortable parts cut out. What's also striking is how the story keeps shifting. First, it was that she didn't date for 5 years. Then photos surfaced, proving otherwise. Then the explanation changed. And every time a new piece of evidence comes out, there's a new spin, a new excuse, a new way of reframing what happened. That pattern, deny, deflect, reframe is not what innocent people do when they've got nothing to hide. That's what people do when they're managing a story. And the Jillian situation that can't just be brushed aside. We've already broken down the messages, the gifts, the inappropriate comments, the way Erika allegedly bypassed that young girl's parents entirely. But what hasn't been fully addressed is why. Why would someone in a professional casting role invest that much personal energy into a 5-year-old? Why the gifts? Why the constant compliments about her appearance? Why the innuendos? None of that fits any legitimate professional framework. And the fact that Erika has never given a clear, direct, satisfying answer to any of it, that silence is loud. People who are falsely accused tend to fight back hard. They produce evidence, they provide context, they push back with specifics. But what we've mostly seen from Erika's side is deflection and rebranding. And when you combine that with the pattern of deleted posts, inconsistent timelines, and a personality transplant timed perfectly to her relationship with Charlie, the overall picture is one that raises serious, legitimate concerns. Now, and this is important, none of this means every theory floating around online is accurate. Social media runs hot. People speculate. Things get exaggerated. And not everything that looks suspicious actually is. But what we can say, based on documented screenshots, public posts, and testimony from people who were there, is that the version of Erika that exists today does not match the version of Erika that existed before Charlie. And she's never honestly explained that gap. Not once. Not clearly. Not without the story falling apart somewhere else shortly after. That gap matters. Because when someone in the public eye builds their identity around authenticity, around being a real values-driven person, and then that identity turns out to be constructed, people feel misled, and they have every right to ask questions. So here's where we land. Was this a love story that started with a genuine transformation? Was it a strategic move by someone who saw an opportunity and took it? Was there something darker underneath all of it, connecting threads that haven't fully been pulled yet? The honest answer is that we don't have all the pieces. But the pieces we do have don't fit the story Erika has been telling. And every week it seems like another piece surfaces that makes the official version harder to defend. At some point, the pattern speaks for itself. The deleted history, the manufactured image, the inconsistent timeline, the unanswered questions about that young girl, the flirty messages that contradict everything she's claimed about who she was. It all points to someone who made a very deliberate decision to become a different person for reasons that still haven't been fully explained, and who has been working overtime ever since to make sure nobody looks too closely at who she used to be. That's the real story here. Not just who Erika is attracted to, not just whether she was a party girl before she met Charlie, but whether everything she's presented to the public, the faith, the values, the love story, the identity, was ever real to begin with. Or whether it was always just a role she was playing and the curtain is finally starting to come down. Now we want to hear from you because this conversation is way too big to leave in just one direction. What do you think is really going on here? Do you think Erika genuinely changed, or does something about this whole story feel off to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't hold back, because the comments on this one are going to be interesting. If this video had you thinking, questioning, or just completely shocked, hit that like button because it helps more people find this content and join the conversation. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is the time because what's coming next is going to be just as eye-opening as this. Share this with someone who needs to see it, and we'll see you in the next one.